One of the biggest insights I had on my journey increasing my LSAT score from a 152 to a 175 was recognizing that it's not all about the type of question in LSAT logical reasoning. I found that far too many LSAT resources, in particular those 500-page LSAT prep phone books, they were overcomplicating things by focusing on LSAT question stem type. One of my biggest breakthroughs was when I realized that if I instead focused on the method of reasoning in the stimulus, meaning I actually understood the argument in the passage text, the questions became a whole lot easier. So I want to encourage you here, slow down, take the time to understand the argument, then the question and the answer choices will make a whole lot more sense. Solving the question becomes a whole lot easier. This was the foundation of what later became the Socratic review method, a framework I guide students through to help you better understand the argument, better understand the question stem, better understand the answer choices. In particular, what makes the wrong answer choice tempting, what ultimately makes it wrong, what makes the right answer choice unappealing, and what ultimately makes it correct. Because the thing is, you have these traps of encouragement towards the wrong answer and traps of discouragement away from the right answer. And until you know which tricks and traps you personally are uniquely prone to falling for, you can't help but end up making the same mistake again. And so we guide you through the Socratic review method in our one-on-one coaching sessions, in our small group classes. We demo it live for you. All the classes are recorded for any that you can't make. We have literally hundreds of these classes since we've been doing them, even since before the pandemic. Of course, we walk you through question types as well, but a lot of the fundamentals go beyond question stem type. For example, you want to make sure that you're clear on conditional indicator words for necessary and sufficient conditions, for evidence and conclusion. These will carry you far, but if you don't know them, you're in trouble. When it comes to those 15 different types of logical reasoning questions, you want to master the core types like necessary assumption, inference, and flaw before tackling less common types like evaluate the argument or the hated types like parallel reasoning. You don't want to give disproportionate attention to questions that show up rarely if you haven't solidified your understanding of the most common types of logical reasoning questions. Now, the importance of logical reasoning is doubled relative to the old LSAT format because logical reasoning is now 2/3 of the test, not just 1/3 like it was before. So any gains you make in your understanding of logical reasoning are automatically doubled across the two sections. Now, today I'm going to share with you 3 quick wins for logical reasoning you can implement right away. I find that far too many students, for example, are confused about the difference between necessary assumption questions and sufficient assumption questions. These are asking for radically different things. Make sure you are crystal clear on the difference. The key to distinguishing them is the word or phrase in the question stem. For necessary assumption questions, you're looking for a word or phrase synonymous with necessity, like depends upon, requires, and assumes. For sufficient assumption questions, you're looking for words and phrases in the question stem synonymous with sufficiency, like allows, enables, follows logically if assumed, and properly inferred if assumed. The second quick win I want to give you is being clear on the important distinction between must be true questions and most strongly supported questions. You could frame these under the catch-all category of inference questions, but there is a small nuance between the two. For must be true questions, you are looking for 100% support by the stimulus. For most strongly supported questions, the correct answer should be suggested by the stimulus and incredibly likely based upon the stimulus, but does not necessarily have to be 100% guaranteed. The final distinction, the final third quick win I want to share with you here is that weakened questions do not require that the correct answer destroy the argument. A lot of students think that a weakener has to prohibit or prevent the conclusion from logically following from the evidence. In reality, a weakener just makes the conclusion relatively less likely given the evidence. And on the flip side, by the way, here's a bonus quick win for you. A strengthened question's correct answer choice does not need to guarantee the argument or guarantee the conclusion. It just has to make the conclusion relatively more likely to follow. Now, of course, at LSAT Unplugged in our programs, we cover all 15 different types of logical reasoning questions, not just the ones I mentioned above, but I do recommend focusing on the most important methods of reasoning in addition, because it's not always about LSAT question types. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. I hope you found the video helpful. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.